most dangerous drug that is in use in our country today.
The campaign will continue until every available known plot of marijuana has been eradicated.
Acceptance of drug use is simply not an option for this administration.
I assume the goals of prohibition are to reduce the amount of drugs available and to reduce the demand for those drugs.
I thought pot made you stupid. I bought into it just as much as anybody did.
A lot of the information that was kept and warehoused in the Library of Congress was actually recalled and destroyed.
There are no deaths from cannabis use. You can't find one.
Marijuana is just a weed, and marijuana is worth more ounce for ounce than gold.
This brings crime into it. The ability to make money is so huge in it.
We have seen an explosion in prison construction.
We have private prisons? What the f*** is that? How can you profit over people going to jail?
There are millions of drug tests per year. It's not just urine anymore, it's hair and saliva. They'll do blood testing. There's industry there. This is money. They're not doing it for free.
The most profitable industry in the United States is pharmaceutical. Pharmaceutical companies don't want you growing your own medicine.
We finally got a grower.
I imagine they're probably laid this way.
You want to know what a weed smoker looks like? You're staring at one.
He said, well, it's not really a drug bust. I said, well, then what are you doing in my house?
It causes people to think. When people think, they question. They question things like, say, the war in Vietnam, or the Gulf War, or oil wars.
The use of the criminal law for the basis of public health is a wholly bad idea, no matter how you cut it.
The fiber itself is the strongest natural fiber in the world.
We're worried about things going extinct, and yet the policy on the most useful plants in the world is that they should all be eliminated and driven to extinction.
Sometimes you feel like you've stepped into Alice in Wonderland. You've gone through the looking glass.
Prince of Wales, his wealth and fame, great big ears and a big long name. But our Mark Emery takes the spot. The whole world knows he's the Prince of Pot.
I collected $4 million and we gave it away. We gave it away to pay for the Canadian Supreme Court challenge in December 2003 that David Mamo Levine was a testifier for and a litigant. We've spent money, $35,000 every year we spend on the Global Marijuana March all around the world to buy posters and have these rallies put on. That money that people in the cannabis culture gave me and sent to me for seeds was used for class action suits against the U.S. federal government, was used for Supreme Court cases. It was used to pay for political parties in Israel, in New Zealand, in Australia, in Canada, in the United States. It was doing fabulous work, and make no mistake about it. That's why I'm being sent away to the United States U.S. federal penitentiary system, because of all those great works that we were able to do.
He's the Prince of Pot. Now shy, he's not. He gives it all he's got. He's the Prince of Pot. Queen of Soul and the Duke of Earl, Elvis Presley and his Jungle Girls, the King of Swing and all whatnot. The whole world knows he's the Prince of Pot.
Do your part, because if you grow marijuana, I know you have to hide, you can't get too public, can't get out at demonstrations. Make sure you give money to people who are doing those things, that are going to court, that are leading those rallies. I want the growers to get out and help out. I know, sure, in a legal environment you'll probably make a little less, but you'll smoke a lot more, and you'll be a lot happier.
He's the Prince of Pot. Now shy, he's not. He gives it all he's got. He's the Prince of Pot.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out. I'm sorry the sound equipment wasn't working earlier. I wish it had been, but, you know, Mercury retrograde, all sorts of stuff goes on. Well, you're all here today because you want to support Marc Emery, and I thank you all so much for coming out here. I didn't know what to expect. It might have just been a small group, but to see all these faces here standing together, whether you're here because you believe marijuana prohibition should be ended, or whether you believe that sovereignty should be protected, whether you believe Marc Emery should not spend one day behind bars, whatever your reason, you're here, and I thank you for it. Because we need people power. There is power in numbers. Our enemy is strong. Our enemy has the military, the police, the weapons to keep you silent, to keep you from criticizing or questioning the government and the way things are. Marc Emery has for many, many years, decades, has questioned the government's authority to tell you what to do. Because as long as you're not hurting anyone else, as long as you're not causing any harm, then why should you be dealing with police or prisons or agents of the government coming into your life? And why should a Canadian citizen be dragged off into a foreign country? Marc never went to the United States. He never did business there. He sold marijuana seeds right here in Vancouver for well over a decade, right over the counter or through the mail. You wanted to find Marc Emery, you can call him at home. He was honest and open and transparent and never hid because he's not a criminal. He's a brilliant businessman and an activist standing up for freedom and rights and bringing the cannabis plant into use and acceptance because hemp cannabis can save the world. As Marc said, plant the seeds of freedom, overgrow the government, because these seeds can save our planet. It's medicine, it's fuel, it's clothing. We could build our houses and cars and run all of our power on it. Hemp can save the world, and Marc was helping spread cannabis hemp so we could all use it. And the war on drugs out of America will reach around the globe to grab anyone they see as a threat. And they saw Marc Emery as a threat. On the day of Marc's arrest, the United States Drug Enforcement Administration said it was a significant blow to the marijuana legalization movement. That drug legalization lobbyists have one less pot of money to rely on. That Marc Emery was known to channel hundreds of thousands of dollars to drug legalization groups. And then they go after him and arrest him and charge him for conspiracy to manufacture marijuana in a foreign country. And they drag him down there with the threat of life behind bars. And when Marc was facing life in U.S. prison for selling marijuana seeds, he said he would want to stay at home. He's going to make a plea deal so he can come back here in 5 years and make sure that this war on drugs is over and that none of you and nobody else goes to prison for marijuana. So Marc is doing a 5-year plea deal. This breaks my heart. He should not be going to prison. And I beg you, bring him back home. Declare our Canadian sovereignty and tell them to free Marc Emery and bring him home. We have to end this war on drugs, and we have to protect our fellow Canadians. And if they get Marc, they'll go after you. And they'll go after your loved ones and your friends and your grandma who grows a little plant. They'll go after everyone and put you all behind bars. Don't let that happen. Do not let it happen. Stand up for your rights. Help free marijuana and free Marc Emery so we can live in peace and love and please go to cannabisculture.com so you can write to Marc Emery in prison, so you can call your member of parliament, you can tell this government in power right now, back off, save our citizens, don't tell me what to do, and free Marc Emery, bring Marc Emery home. Thank you.
Thank you, Jody Emery.
Want to help them with all we got. The whole world knows he's the Prince of Pot. He's the Prince of Pot. He's the Prince of Pot. Now shy, he's not. He gives it all he's got. He's the Prince of Pot. We need someone to fill the slot. Fight the cause with all they got. a lot. The whole world knows he's the Prince of Pot.